Yo, 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 what is up? What is up, YouTube boxing family? It is IK right here. I'm back with another great video for you guys today. Yeah, let's get right into it, man. We have a lot to say. I'll probably even talk about this video right now about Stefan Fulton calling out Mr. Rais Salim, saying he is booty cheeks. So I think this is now going to stir up the pot. So, I don't know how many Rais Salim fans come in or Cool Boy Steph fans come into the conversation. But let's talk about this first. And we're going to get to Devin Haney. And then I have some other videos that I'm going to talk until I get tired to go to bed. Yeah, man. So, let's get right into it. Devin Haney. Yeah, let me do Devin Haney, and then I'll do Cool Boy Steph after. So, Devin Haney and George Kambosos. I'm gonna be debunking the argument for Devin Haney is obligated to fight George Kambosos Jr. for the Undisputed rematch. And I'm here to basically explain why Devin Haney and George Kambosos is not a obligated rematch for Devin Haney exclusively. I think a lot of stupid casuals have been lying about that for quite some time now, and they're only doing that because they're desperate to basically say Devin Haney can't fight anybody else other than George Kambosos, which is mentally retarded. But I'm going to basically say, out of my own due diligence, to explain why Devin Haney does not need to fight George Kambosos. He chose to fight George Kambosos. So yeah, let's get right into it, man. I'll do that, and then I'll talk about my boy Cool Boy, and then we'll probably end it with some other videos. I'll even talk about Subriel Matias and Jeremiah Ponce. That's gonna be a flame fight. I can't wait for that. So yeah, let's talk about what Devin and Kambosos are going through right now. So the reason why Devin Haney chose to fight George Kambosos is because he is not obligated to fight George Kambosos. When you hit Undisputed in all the sanctioning bodies to become the man of your division, the challenger or the former champion that wants to rematch you for the titles, they are only exclusive to your belts. So, by the rules, you have a choice to either defend your titles, because you can't choose anybody else to fight with those titles. So, you are supposed to be obligated by your own voluntary choice to defend the titles against your rematched clause, opponent that wants to get a shot at winning, the title once again. So, by that rule of its own, you can't really say that a fighter is contractually obligated to fight you, because that's not how contracts work. Otherwise, contracts would be very unethical, and I'm not a believer in contracts, but I will say that if somebody was to say that to me as a professional fighter, if I was getting into boxing, I would probably never box at all. Because you mean to tell me that you're obligated to have me as your opponent when I don't say yes to that? And even if I were to say yes, I'm not going to fulfill that obligation. I will breach the contract anyway. Because what if I already beat you and you want me to fight you as many times as you want, and I still beat you up? Then no, I'm not going to go that far. So I think the only reason why Devin only did it was because he wanted to be loyal and give the benefit of the doubt to Kambosos, to say, look, I'll give you the opportunity again. But in all honest reality, Devin is only doing it just to stay busy. He's not doing it for any other reason other than, if he really wants to fight somebody else, he could just vacate the titles and just either move up to 140 and win another opportunity up there for a belt. But the problem with that is that everything's held up at 140 right now. Josh Taylor still holds the WBO, in which he just vacated all three of his other belts with the WBA, WBC, and the IBF. So, what Devin is probably going to end up doing is that he's going to fulfill his last fight on Top Rank if he's able to beat Kambosos, which I do believe Devin's going to shut him out, and I think he'll probably end up stopping him or just, cruising him to a decision once again. But after that, it's like Devin doesn't have anything else left to do with Kambosos. But in this situation that I'm going to debunk, where all you stupid casuals were talking about, you were saying Kambosos is obligated. Yeah, he's granted a rematch for Devin Haney to be forced to fight him. And that's not how contracts work, because I just recently stated it earlier. But when you look at the details of how a boxing contract is made, you cannot be obligated to fight someone. You can't force a man to come inside of the ring and fight you if the fighter wants to fight you, unless he or she wants to fight you. But when it comes to a world title fight or undisputed world title fight, you are only obligated for the belts. You are not obligated to fight the fighter. The fighter can say, F you, and I'm not going to fight you, and if you try coming after me to force me to fight you, then I'm going to kill you. And people will probably end up doing that. But the thing is that you cannot force a man or woman to fight you. I don't care who it is. You cannot tell, Darth Vader that he has to fight you. Either he's going to kill you or he will choose to kill you. That's how it works. So, there's a load of consent being given in the event of people wanting to fight each other. So, when you apply this principle into any contractual, consensus, Devin Haney only chose to fight Kambosos because there is nobody else, notable in the division that was left for him to fight, other than Gervonta Tank Davis. See, now, I'm not going to add too much into the Gervonta Tank Davis issue, which I will say I'm going to make a different video on that very soon. I'm probably going to make some good topics on that and probably talk about if Gervonta Davis is avoiding Devin Haney and is he afraid of Devin. I'm a believer of that. I don't think Gervonta wants any parts of Devin. But with Kambosos and Devin is only doing this for the sake of not having his opportunity to fight Tank, because Gervonta is making this weird excuse to say that Devin Haney, he's busy, he's held up with Kambosos, so he's not going to fight him, and he's going to go after a guy like Ryan Garcia to fight, in which, that's just like a load of shit, because it's like, after the after the Rolly fight, Devin had his fight, the month later, heading into June. So it's not like Gervonta Davis was really, busy at all. So it's like, fast forward into now, we're already heading into the month of September, or we're already in the month of September. And Gervonta, he's going to come back in December to finish up the year. And now Tank is about to be 28 years old soon in November. But it's like, what is Gervonta doing with his career? I don't know what Tank is doing, but it's like Gervonta, if he was a real man, he would have said, "Hey, F Kambosos, vacate the titles, and me and you fight each other." They could do that. There's no blockade between Tank and Devin, but the reason why this fight is probably never going to be made, or the fight itself wasn't going to be made off the rip after the Kambosos victory for Devin, was because Gervonta's team is making up all the weird excuses to not fight him, in which Floyd Mayweather and Leonard Ellerbe and his coach Calvin Ford, no disrespect to Calvin Ford, they are not being vocal about wanting this fight, which doesn't make any damn sense, because Gervonta, you're the fucking boss. Excuse my French, and for any children that are watching, I'm sorry. This is more so adult-made content. But when you look at the analytical picture of where Devin is at, he's only fighting Kambosos for the sake of staying busy with knowing what's going to happen in the lightweight division. So he's going to see what Tank is going to do after he fights, after he beats the living crap out of Kambosos. But once he beats up Kambosos and he goes ahead and waits on Tank, after Tank, quote unquote, gets his business settled with his next opponent, which we don't even know who, like seriously, we don't know who Gervonta Davis's next opponent will be. There is nobody else available that is at a high level to fight Tank. Frank Martin, he's going to be fighting Chris Colbert, which is a very surprising, fight. But it's like Frank Martin versus Chris Colbert, that's already picked up. Jose Valenzuela, sadly, he got knocked out or he got stopped, so I don't think that's a valuable fight. He's going to take some time off probably. Michelle Rivera fight, that's a good fight. I think that's a very good, reasonable fight. I don't think the Ryan Garcia fight is probably going to happen. There's been some weird sources saying that Ryan Garcia and Tank, they were supposed to see each other, or like they were set to fight each other in December. I think I heard of a date of December 17th or some shit, but that just made no sense to me whatsoever, and that was just such a weird mantra of like how they just brought that up. I think it was like some DraftKings, article or something that just got fucking posted out of nowhere, but I don't think Tank and Ryan's gonna happen. So I don't know who Gervonta Davis will be fighting. And I think the biggest, my biggest wild guess of who he may fight would probably be like, shit, I don't even know, man. Like, I mean, he can't fight Gary Russell because he's going through his family issues. So it's like, I don't know. I mean, if Gervonta, just comes out of his way and just tries to rematch Rolly, I think that'll be like the biggest like laughter, of a joke of a fight, because it's like people are gonna start looking at Gervonta funny, and at this point of Gervonta's career, it's like, he better act up soon, man. I don't like to be disrespectful towards Tank, because I'm sure Tank is a very educated person. Like, he's not stupid. He actually has some proper decency in what he does outside of boxing, and he has a great livelihood. That's something that I can respect out of Gervonta, and I like that out of him. He's a very well-spoken individual, and I know Gervonta is going to have a great career after boxing, but knowing that we're in the sport of boxing right now, it's like I cannot respect Tank's business decisions, and I don't want to say he's stupid like Terrence Crawford, because he is far greater than Terrence Crawford in terms of marketability and making sure the business is right, because he's getting paid through Floyd Mayweather and Leonard. But knowing that we're heading into the prime of Tank Davis's career, we don't have that much time left. As fans, we don't have a lot of time left to see out of Tank's ultimate prime. Like, the prime is like right now. Like, it's probably going to end within like 4 or 5 years from now, but it's like I don't want to see Tank's career just be wasted away of him fighting, just a bunch of low-level, bums. Like, I may be sounding disrespectful, off of that, but it's like, it's the truth. You guys don't like the fact that people like myself and other channels that are getting frustrated of us not wanting to put our hard-earned money to go see Tank fight, in which I could have went to Tank and Rolly fight out in Brooklyn, but it's like, why? Like, that's not valuable to me, but it's like, if Tank and Devin, if they fought in New York City, oh, bet. I'm going to that fight. I don't care. Like, I will take a Greyhound train, and I will bring, I'll take a Greyhound bus, and I will go all the way out to New York City, you know, spend the night at a family's house or a family member's house, and I'm going straight to Barclay. I don't care. Like, I will literally put down the money for the cheapest ticket that I could find. But, you know, it like obviously, like, if like the ticket prices are way too expensive, then yeah, like, I'm probably just gonna sit that one out and just watch it at home. But yeah, man, it's just sad, man. It's like Gervonta is wasting so much big bread fights, and at this point of his career, it's just crazy. Like, Devin Haney is not supposed to fight Kambosos. Like, he was never supposed to rematch Kambosos at all. And I, like, honestly, I can agree with Bob Arum. Having rematches are not really good unless the rematch is worth putting up the money for it. And it's not like Bob Arum, he's not a fan of rematches. He could give a rematch, you know, if he's willing to, you know, say, look, Top Rank will invest in a good fight that is worth watching once again. But it's like rematches sell more to the public, and if they do sell more based off of how good the fight was in the first fight, then that just clearly shows that rematches are more valuable. And that's why rematches are really good, for the sake of giving the fans what they want. But to break this down, to finalize between Devin and Kambosos, Devin Haney is not obligated to fight Kambosos. There's nothing you could prove to me or anybody else with a pure sense of common sense to say that Kambosos is obligated to have Devin Haney as his opponent for Undisputed, which is not possible. He's only obligated for the belts. He is not obligated to fight Devin Haney exclusively. You cannot have a contract stated for that. Otherwise, people would be probably they would probably be killing each other outside of the sport of boxing right now. So that's pretty much it. I just wanted to talk more about that and explain the contractual details of how a fight really gets made. Obviously, I'm not a manager, I'm not a promoter, but I just know these things because I do my research, and you can't really have a boxing contract set up like that because no fighter and their team would just say yes to that, you know, unless they're stupid enough to say, oh, well, okay, you're exclusively obligated to fight me under my name. And it's like, no, like, you're just exclusively obligated just to get the fight. But if I'm not willing to fight you and I pull out, then yeah, there should be like a late replacement to pull in for the fight or fill in. But that's another issue at hand. But that's pretty much it. I'll see you guys later. Salute to the mighty LDBC. Salute to TWT. I'll see y'all later. Peace out and goodbye. Bye.